Hey guys, welcome to our take-home paint night kit. I'm Lonnie. If you haven't come to the paint classes before, welcome. If you've been here before, you kind of know how this goes, except this time it's all online. We are going to be going step by step through this painting here. Just two little lovebirds on a telephone wire. In the sunset. So we're going to go over everything that's in your kit first, and then we will start on the painting. So in your kit, what you should have gotten from the library was paint. You should have 4 colors: red, yellow, black, and white. You should have a canvas, and you should have a paper copy of the example. I'm going to put it up here. You should also have a paintbrush if you needed one. Some of you needed one, some of you didn't. If you did borrow a paintbrush, just please remember to return it to us so we can do these things in person eventually at some point in time. Or if we want to do another one online, we'll have them to lend out again. If you did not borrow a paintbrush, you might not have the exact same size that we're using. It's just going to be one small one. Just use whatever you're comfortable with. What we did not provide for you was a plate to mix your colors on. So if you have a paper plate, feel free to use that. If you have a glass plate that you want to wash and feel comfortable with, that's fine. We also did not provide you with a cup to rinse your brushes out, so any cup would work, and it needs to be filled with water. We did not provide that either. Just make sure if you are using a normal drinking glass, you don't drink out of it from home because it's paint and it's going to be really gross. I think that's everything that you have in your kit, so we're going to get started on painting. So again, this is what we're painting, just 2 little birds in front of a sunset. Pretty simple. It shouldn't be a long video. However, if you need to pause it at any time, rewind it, feel free. I'm going to go kind of fast, going to go straight through the painting, so just pause whenever you need. We're going to start off by getting our brush wet. Another thing we did not provide you, paper towels. Make sure you have paper towels. You're going to need those to clean your brush off in between colors and to dry it off after you rinse it. So we're going to get our brush wet and get some yellow paint on our brush. And we're just going to put some yellow dots randomly wherever you want on the canvas. If you want more yellow, you can do more. I have 3 on the example. If you want your entire painting yellow, feel free. I don't care. And we're just going to be doing the front of the canvas. We're going to paint the edges black when we do the bird and the telephone wire. Okay. And don't worry about making a perfect circle or a perfect shape of any kind. We're going to be blending orange and then red into the colors to make just a nice pretty sunset. When you're happy with your yellow, we're going to go ahead and make orange. So orange is a combination of red and yellow. We're going to start off with a more yellow orange. So we're going to take a glob of yellow and put it in the middle of your plate that you're using. And you're going to take a smaller glob of red and you're going to mix it together until you get a nice orange color. And then to that orange, as we go along, we're going to add more red until it just becomes red. So we're going to start painting around the yellow that we have on the canvas already. And make sure you paint into the yellow so you can blend it together. And you can blend it as little or as much as you want, but if you're wanting to do a more natural sunset, it's going to be blended pretty well. You don't normally look at the sky and see dots of different colors. If it's not blending well, you can always dip your paintbrush back in the water to loosen the paint, and that will help the colors blend on the canvas. So once you have one done, we're going to go to another one. And again, we're going to be painting the outside of the canvas black. So if you accidentally get color on it or whatever, it's okay. It's going to be black. It's going to get covered up. And the good thing about a sunset, it's really forgiving. If you decide at the end you hated that you put yellow down here, you can go back over with orange, just let it dry a little bit. You can go back over with red. Since it's such a blended color palette, it's just going to look like you didn't mess up at all. And then the top one. So even though we are doing a black back border around the painting, make sure that you get your paint all the way to the edges. Otherwise, you're going to have just a white border on the front of your painting. So my paint's not blending as well on this top one, so I'm going to wet my brush a little bit and go back into it. It's going to make the paint a little bit looser and easier to blend together. You can go in as far as you want to the yellow or as little as you want. If you want, again, you're painting mostly yellow, that's perfectly fine. Okay. So as you can see too, as we're going on and blending the orange into the yellow, we're also creating even more shades of orange. So that's what we're looking for. Okay, so after you have all of the orange around your yellow, like I said before, we're going to add even more red into the orange. If you have run out of orange that you made, you can just make it again. It doesn't have to be the exact shade of orange. We're just looking for orange that's a little bit darker. So all I'm doing in the center of my plate is mixing a bunch of colors. when you have an orange that looks to be darker than the one you just used, you can test it out in a little spot. If you like it, then go ahead and do the exact same thing as we did before. We're going to go around all of the spots and blend in this new orange. If you get paint on yourself, it's fine, it's washable. It'll come off. Just use water and soap. Again, same rules go. If it's not blending as easily, just add some water to your brush. And if yours looks different than mine, that's perfect. They shouldn't look the same. Obviously, mine is already starting to look a lot different than the one I did before, and that's fine. This is your painting, and it shouldn't look like anybody else's. One more spot. Again, if I'm going too fast and you're not quite to where I am, that's fine. Just pause it when you're done. Hit play. We'll continue. I'll be here whenever you're ready. Okay. So the next step is to add even more red. This is going to be primarily a red color. I'm going to add a little bit of white before we get to the final darkest red. So let me show you as soon as I finish mixing. So that right there, hopefully you can see, is a red straight out of the tube, and this is more of a peachy, lighter red. And we're going to do this one next, and then we're going to end with the darkest red. So, going to make sure my brush is wet, grab a little bit of paint, and then start blending it in. And if there's too big of a discrepancy between any of your colors, don't worry, you can go back over them. You can just mix up a new red, a new orange, and go back in. I suggest waiting till the end because you never know how it's going to end up once you finish blending all of your colors. But if you do absolutely despise it at this point, that's okay. And you can go in, make a new color, just keep blending it like we've been doing. Make sure you bring the new color over and into the last color you did, and it'll blend. Again, if you get it on the outside, it's okay. We're going to paint that black. And before you start mixing new colors and trying to fix your painting, I suggest putting it down, standing across the room, seeing how you like it. It always looks different up close than it does far away. Don't forget to add water to your brush if it's not spreading well. A lot of people ask every time if they switch colors, if they have to rinse their brush out and wipe it off. Everyone has different thoughts on that. I'm big into no, because we're just blending all of the colors anyway. So it's actually pretty good if you have some of the last color on there. It'll help it blend a little bit nicer. Okay, so the last color we're going to do is the red, pure red, straight from the tube. So grab a little bit on your brush and start in those final spots. Now, if you're going back and adding a lighter color, I do suggest rinsing your brush out. Otherwise, if you go right from this red to yellow and try to paint bright yellow, you're going to have orange. But if you're building up from a lighter color to a darker one, you don't need to. Just keep going. Okay, so there we go. This is the background for my lovebird sitting on the wire. Again, if you're messy, so am I, it's fine. We're gonna let it dry for just a few minutes, seconds, something. Just make sure it's dry enough to touch. Otherwise, your black is going to get all mixed in, and you're going to actually pull off the rest of the paint from the canvas, which you don't want. So we're just going to let it dry. I'm hoping I can just fast forward through this part so you don't have to sit there and watch me stare at the drying paint. Fingers crossed. In the event that you are still here watching me watch paint dry, hope you're having fun. While your painting is drying, you can completely rinse out your brush. We're going to go to black, so there's no need for red, yellow, or orange. To make sure you get all the way down into the bristles, if you just tap your brush straight down into your cup, and then wipe it clean on a paper towel. If color is still coming out, go back in your water and dab it some more. Okay, so we are going to do the birds on the wire now. Where you position it is totally up to you. If you want your birds lower, that's awesome. In the middle, wherever you want them, that's fine. If you want them on a tree, make a tree. It's perfectly fine. It's up to you. I'm doing it on a wire. If you want your birds to have beaks or mohawks or whatever, make it yours. Mine are fairly simple, so I'm just going to show you what I'm doing, but you can do it whatever you want. So I want mine to be a little bit lower, maybe the bottom third. So I'm just going to eyeball and run my paintbrush straight across, straightish across. That looks sort of straight. So we're going with it. That's the wire that they're going to sit on. If you are doing the wire, not a tree or anything, a tip for drawing a straight line, start on one end and keep your eye focused on the other end. And just move your arm. Don't watch your hand go, because then you're going to make it all squiggly. Then we're going to do the birds. So the birds are basically a circle and kind of like a leaf shape, a teardrop. So you're going to pick a spot where you want their heads. And you are just going to do a circle. I paint upside down a lot. If you haven't done it, try it. It helps. Also, if your hand is sticking to your canvas like mine is, it means your paint's not dry enough. So please pause this and stop and wait a couple minutes. Like I said, I'll be here. Okay, so when you have your circle for your bird, we're going to attach the body to the bird with a teardrop shape. They're going to overlap. I'm going to outline the teardrop first. Just like that. I like it. It looks okay. Now I'm going to paint it in black. Okay, so there is bird number 1. And now we're just going to do bird number 2. So it's going to be the same thing. You are going to start off with the circle for his head. And then another teardrop for the body. He can be the same size, he can be bigger, smaller. It's a baby bird. It's a lot easier to do this when you're not holding it in midair. Okay, so there's bird head number 2. And I'm going to make the body go the other way, the tail come down the other direction. They can be sitting the same way. They can be looking at each other off in the distance. They could be looking away from each other. Maybe they hate each other. They just got in a fight. I don't know. It's your bird. So we're going to, again, just draw the tear shape first. I think I like it, so we're going to paint it in black. Okay, so there are my 2 birds. The last thing we're going to do is paint the outside of the canvas black as well. So we're just going to carefully, one side at a time, paint it black. I think that's enough of an example. I don't think you need to watch me paint 4 sides of a canvas black. You guys got that. So there is your take-home paint night kit. I hope you enjoyed it. I would absolutely love to see the paintings, the finished paintings. If you want to email them to me, y'all have my email, or you can post them on Facebook, tag us, on any social media. We have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever you want to do, please share them. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. If you are having any hard times, I'll be here. Alrighty, thanks for participating. We'll see you later.